Hello, my dear cookies. I hope you guys are good. My name is Nella, and I go by my signature name, Cooking with Mrs. Kosa. So I'm back with another video, and today we'll be cooking pap. Pap, simple way to cook pap. All right, so you just need two ingredients really. You just need your maize meal and your hot water. It should be boiling hot to cook your pap. So before I start this video, I just want to remind you guys, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my videos. Please obviously ring the bell so that every time I upload a new video, you can obviously see. If you are a new subscriber, welcome to the family. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna go right ahead and just show you guys how I cook my pap, right? So this is the pap. We call it in my language, I'm Tsonga, proudly from Limpopo. So we call it buso jakutibela, ne? Buso jakutibela. We say kutibela is to, like, you use a wooden spoon. I'm trying to explain it right in simple terms. So you use a wooden spoon to like beat your pap on your pot so that you can like cook it nicely, right? So obviously I have my maize here, so I'm just gonna go right ahead and pour like, so this is 1 cup, so I'm gonna go right ahead and pour my 2 cups of maize there, and also add my water. This is just tap water, cold tap water, and I'm just gonna mix this together. So that's how it's looking now before I mix. As you can see, the maize and the water is not mixed thoroughly. You need to use a wooden spoon so that you can just mix everything together. And I have my pot here. The best pot you need to use to cook your pap is hard pots. Trust me on that one, guys. Use hard pots, not any other pots, because, well, this is debatable, right? But I would just advise you to use hard pots, and I just always use a hard pot all the time to cook my pap. So I already have my water that is boiling now, so I'm gonna go right ahead and just mix everything together and just show you guys how I cook my pap. So I have my wooden spoon now. I'm just mixing everything together, and I'm gonna go right ahead and pour it in my pot. So you just need to make sure that you mix everything thoroughly. Your maize and your water should be nicely mixed. That's how it looks when it's nicely mixed. Okay, so now let me show you the next step. So the next step is to add your spirit white vinegar in your pot. I use this house brand, Checkers house brand. You just need to add a little bit. You can use a teaspoon to measure this, a spoon I mean, to measure this. I'm just gonna go right ahead and just add a dash like that. Go right ahead and add our maize and water mixture into our pot. So I'm just adding everything in there. My water is boiling and my stove is on high right now, so I'm just going right ahead and mixing everything together. Let me just show you guys how everything is looking. So you just need to mix. So you must continue doing this process because you don't want to see any lumps in your pap. Your pap doesn't have to have any lumps, so you just have to continue mixing until you start seeing it bubbling, like chapchara. We call it chapchara in my language. So you just have to continue mixing everything together in that circular motion. Mix, 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 mix. Just keep mixing. Mix everything nicely. Okay, I think that is enough mixing. So once you're done mixing everything, you'll start to see your pap bubbling. That is what I'm talking about. So you'll see your pap bubbling like that. So it means everything is nicely mixed. And what you need to do now is just to close this and let it continue bubbling for about, let's say, 7 to 10 minutes. So this is exactly the bubbling process that you need to see. So if you see your pap doing that, that is a good sign. We give it a thumbs up, like, that's good. That's exactly what you need to see. So you should just let this happen for about 7 to 10 minutes. And then we're gonna go right ahead and add our pap and just mix everything together. So now this is about 7 to 15 minutes later. So now I'm gonna go right ahead and just try to get that texture of my pap. So I'm gonna use my maize. So I usually just transfer my maize into a container like that. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm just gonna add as I mix everything together. So you add while you mix. So you can mix this in circular motion like that until all the pap disappears, all the maize disappears into your pap mixture like that. So you just have to continue mixing. So I usually do it in the circular motion when I'm just starting the process, but as I go you'll see how I do it. So let's just do that now in the circular motion like that. So here I'm going with my second cup and putting it in there and just mixing everything together like that. Just have to keep on mixing. Don't mind when it spills on the side, but just make sure you don't overspill. Don't mind that. You just need to keep on mixing, and as it becomes thickened, then you mix like that. Okay, just look what I'm doing. I'm holding my wooden spoon like that and going in and out like that in that motion. In and out, that motion. Remember, my stove at this point is still on high, so I'm just going in that circular motion. In and out, in and out. I'm gonna go in again with my third cup of the maize until to the consistency and the mixture you want it to be. Then continue in and out, in and out. Then I'm gonna use my both hands now just to make sure that I hold my pot intact and just continue mixing like that. In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out in that motion. So at this point I feel like it's thickened enough. Just look at that. It's thickened enough, and that is at exactly the consistency I want it to be. Just make sure that you don't have any lumps as you mix that in and out. Whew, I'm breathing heavily because now it's becoming heavy. It's now heavy. That's how you want it to be. And what I'll do now, I'll just close this and let it to simmer for about, let's say, 7 to 15 minutes again. Just make sure that you are just paying attention to it because you don't want it to burn. And then we can check on it when we are done. Remember, I told you guys always use this brand, Hut. I'm sure you can see the brand there. Hut is the best for pap. Okay, I'm just gonna do that one more time, just to make sure that everything is nicely mixed. And then when your pap comes out like that, don't worry, just clean off your wooden spoon and go right ahead and catch it. Boom, bring it inside. Okay, so this is 10 minutes later. Now let's see how our pap is looking. So this is a process that you must do before you dish out, just to make sure that you remove any lumps that might still be there, and just make sure that you mix everything so that you evenly cook everything at the same rate. So mixing everything, and I'm just gonna close it off now again for like 2 minutes, and I'll be ready to dish it out. Pap is ready right now, and I'm gonna go right ahead and dish it out. So what I do, obviously I'll remove it from my hot stove. Can you hear that sizzling? It's super hot. And I'm just gonna go ahead and switch off my stove. And what I do, I usually dish this on plates and let it cool down for like 2 to 5 minutes, and then put it back in my pot. That's how I do it. So if you want, you can use it a warmer, you can use containers. I know some people use warmers just to keep it warm for longer. Some people use containers just to keep it sealed in there, but I prefer just cleaning off my pots on the side and putting it back on my pot. So I'm gonna go right ahead now smells more like barbecue. It smells more like home. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just mix everything. So what I do, I put it on my chopping board, dishcloth like that, and I'm gonna go right ahead and mix everything. So what I'll do right now, I'll just shape it off into shapes that will be usable, because now I said I'm gonna dish it up on this plate and then put it back. So we call it shimara in my language, shimara or shpamela shimara, so that you can reuse it the next time. So what I'll do right now, I'll just go ahead and just dish it up on my plates. So you dish it out and it's supposed to look like that. Can you see? So that's the first one. Oh, load shedding. We have load shedding, and I think it will still be able to see what's happening on this video, but unfortunately we have load shedding now. So I'm just gonna continue and just do the rest. So these are people in my house just making noise in the background. Don't mind that, and I'll just continue and do the rest.